I love the trophies in Melee. They're so personalized looking and custom made, and like actual unique models that are shiny and sleek and look like real trophies, and it makes them just way more appealing looking and lusting to collect compared to the future titles where they're just all seem to be ported over models, and it's just like, who cares? Even when I first got Brawl, I noticed there was something less special about getting them. No wonder they were fizzled out in Ultimate. But not to hark on that, you're here to hear obscure facts about them, because like the rest of the game, this miracle of an existence game, it's full of weird oddities and interesting stuff in the files and all that good stuff. Now, I'm not going to be telling you stuff that everybody knows, like Daisy's third eye and the reflections of Yoshi's Island and Super Metroid and all the Japanese exclusive trophies and Ganondorf's eyes glowing, etc. You all know that. I'm going to tell you about stuff that, while all documented on the cutting room floor, has barely ever been talked about outside of that, and probably a lot less people know about it because of that. So let's get started on it. Okay, so when I said I wasn't going to be talking about Daisy's third eye, I was lying a little bit. Because you see, the thing about it is that she, for whatever reason, has eyes all over her head. Yeah, and in the game, they just simply rendered it to be invisible. But in earlier releases, it appears that they somehow missed one. So that's why that's there. Unknown why she has all of those eyes, but yeah, that's one thing solved. So regarding reflections, of course I'm not going over the one that everybody knows, but other ones that have been on the cutting room floor for a while, such as the cat face and the baby face, but I've never seen anybody really point out where on the trophies these are and how you can see them for yourself. The cat face is on Ayumi's trophy, and I turned on the game myself to go look for these. And I don't know how well they'll show on the video itself, because unfortunately I don't know like how good screenshots are of these trophies all around. And I can't take one myself without just taking a picture of the screen, which would be awful. So yeah, I don't know how these will be fine, but I will tell you exactly where you can go find them at yourself at the very least. And with Ayumi's, you can see the embroidered cat face on the metal parts of her suitcase. Like, I'm pretty sure that's definitely it. I can see the cat, and it's kind of like a surprise jump when you first see it, that kind of excitement. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Likewise, the embraced baby face is on the Fire Kirby trophy, and it's on the more metal parts. I looked, and I'm pretty sure it's on this front-facing orange part of the crest around the green orb. I'm almost positive it is that. Now with Ocarina, it's a bit less of a weird image, but it's still cool, being that Ocarina of Time uses a sky reflection on it, and that fits with Ocarina of Time itself, the game, because the file select and such is kind of like that. Anyway, you can just basically see it all over the place, like it's on the whole entire trophy as a sheen, and like, you can make out, like, oh, those are supposed to be clouds, even though they just look like light reflections and such in the game. They did a very good job using this and, like, kind of disguising it, and that's what I think is so fucking cool about development in games like these, is, like, improvising with things like this. Okay, now let's save what's by far the most interesting reflection for last, being that in the game's file, they use this image of Ososhi Castle from the 64 build of Mother 3, Earthbound 64. Yeah, that's really wild and awesome to know about. And on the cutting room floor, it doesn't specify at all, it just says that it's used for quote-unquote several trophies. Now, I took a look around the trophies myself in the game, and I'm not really sure about any of them that use it. I can't, like, point it out in hindsight and be like, aha, that's it. There's a few I was sure of. I looked at the Lon Lon Milk because I was like checking for trophies that have like a glass or metal material, as is the theme with these. And looking at the glass, I feel like I could sort of see something, like maybe it's the sky of it, or maybe it's using the same sky texture as Ocarina of Time's trophy, but it doesn't mention that on the site, so I don't know. Two other ones I think might have been it is Staryu with the gem in the middle of it, and Andros 64 specifically in his hands, but I'm not sure. If any of you can go look and definitively say that this trophy uses it, then please do say so. Okay, so in 2020, I made a video about the interesting connections that Melee has to Space World trailers and the betas of different games and how they directly reference really obscure material from that and how it's kind of immortalized it. And nobody watched that video, and it is kind of rough. Maybe I'm being over hard on myself. I don't know. If any of you want to see it, you can go search for it or ask me to link it. Anyway, something I talked about in there was the Alpha Trophy, this one. Because there's something really interesting about this trophy. It says future release, and the game that's from is Cubifor. That's not the interesting thing. The thing about that is that in Cubifor itself, there is no creature named Alpha, and there is no creature that looks exactly like this. That's what I said in that original video, and now I know that this is still the case, sort of, because you see, looking at the game itself, there is no Alpha, but there is an enemy, the first, sort of boss, one that you encounter. It has the head of this creature. It doesn't have the body, but the head is there. It's definitely it. And, yeah, this is really weird and interesting, because you would think, well, maybe that's how it looked like in the beta of the game, and that's where they got it from. But Cubifor, as recently discovered, had an unreleased 64DD build, and it's near identical to the GameCube one, and this creature looks pretty much the same in it, and the only difference I see is that the black spots around the eyes are, a slightly different texture, just kind of maybe looks like the same one, but rotated a bit. So, yeah, no idea where this specific version of Alpha came from. That's still a really weird mystery that somebody else is going to have to look into, and I checked the cutting room floor. There actually is no page on Cubifor. There's a notes page, but there is no main page, so who knows about what's in the game's files and such. But it does have one on the 64DD version, so go figure, and yeah, obviously I didn't see anything there that was, a solution. So yeah, that's really interesting, and there's going to be one more thing from that previous video that I'm going to be talking about at the last thing in this. Okay, so there are a series of trophies in Melee that are rigged, meaning that they can fully move around and such. And those trophies are the ones for Annie, Bayonet, the carts from Mario Kart, Lon Milk, Ray MK2, and White Cat, and then one more that I'm saving for last. As you can see, there's a big custom robo theme going on here, and I don't know what that could mean exactly, if they were planning on doing something more custom robo, like giving it a stage or something like that, but there's never been any say or findings in the game's files or anything like that to suggest it, and doesn't explain some of the others. I mean, the Lon Milk, it's maybe rigged because of Youngling drinking it, but in the actual motion of his taunt, I don't know if it's actually animated or anything like that. I've never noticed it. So yeah, that's another interesting curiosity with this. But it gets way deeper with the last rigged trophy. So the last one is Meowth, and I talked about this trophy in my Space World video because he has the guitar from Meowth's party trailer in there, and yeah, that was another thing that I wanted to talk about. But that's not what I'm going to be doing about here, because not only is Meowth rigged, but his name in the files is suffixed with the letter R. And this is a big deal because the only other trophies like that are the ones for playable fighters. And the fact that it has that's fully rigged, and as the cutting room floor also points out, Melee is the only game in the series where Meowth isn't a summonable Pokeball item. This all points to the conclusion that you can come up with that Meowth might have actually planned to be playable before, and maybe even came way closer than any other characters, and this blows my mind because we hear all about cut characters in the Smash Bros. Series, but I've never heard anybody talk about Meowth and Melee. I've never heard anyone bring this up as a beta thing, and, that's such a huge deal to me, and, it's interesting too, because with Smash 64, it's unknown where it came from, but it's always been rumored with no source or proof that Meowth was a cut character from there, and no idea where that came from. But with Melee, there's actual proof, and no one ever talks about this aside from whoever documented it on the cutting room floor. And, like, nobody's ever made a mod for Meowth to be playable in any Smash Bros. Game. It's like, come on, we're missing out here. We gotta expose this more and get Meowth in the game somehow, even if it is as a mod, because that'd be so cool. Like, sure, it's Meowth, sure, it's another Pokemon, but imagine the moveset potential and how fun he could be if you base it off his anime personality. Like, you can have his moveset reference, like, all of the little gags and traps that Team Rocket did, and give him some actual Pokemon moves on top of it, and have him talk smack, and that would be fantastic. We gotta get this cool guy out here, and give him his Space World guitar, too. Anyway, that does it for what I want to talk about in this video, and I hope that you enjoy it. I don't know if I'll ever, like, redo my Space War one. I don't think I want to, because it would feel disrespectful, but maybe I could give more attention to it. Maybe I'll make another video like this going over more obscure oddities in Melee, because I really love this game, and I'm fascinated on how it was developed, and I wish I could make a mod of it someday that just adds a crap ton, like with Super Mario Eclipse, but oh well, dream. Anyway, next time.